Got Your Back Podstream is brought to you by Kinprint. For all your company's promotional needs, they do it all. Apparel, promotional products using the highest quality brands. They do logo design, signage, and printing. Kinprint will promote your brand with excellence. Visit kinprint.ca. Happy Sunday night to you folks, and welcome to Got Your Back live stream edition. Jason Strudwick and Rob Brown waiting behind the scenes to recap one heck of a streak by the Edmonton Oilers. A franchise best 10 consecutive wins. Wow. Can you believe that group never won 10 over all those years? Leon Draisaitl agrees. As always, Got Your Back brought to you by our fantastic title sponsor, Sherwood Buick GMC. Go check out that massive, beautiful showroom. Can't stress how easy and accommodating they make the buying process. They got a great sales staff. They got a streamlined process. They respect your time. The financing is easy to run through as well, and they have stock. They're not one of those dealerships you show up at and they got nothing to show you. So go see Phil and the great crew. Tell them that Got Your Back sent you. You'll get specialized pricing, and you'll get 3 free ultimate detail packages as well on new or used vehicles. Coming to you tonight from our long shot studio here in Sherwood Park. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in Edmonton and Sherwood Park locations here in the park and out on Stony Plain Road. I love Sunday nights. The whole band is here on Sunday nights. Brownie, Zuby behind the scenes in Kelowna, and Jason Strudwick as well. I am not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to make it through the entire pod tonight. I have some stuff I still have to get to. Was vacationing for the last 3 days and limped across the finish line this afternoon. I'm operating Struds at maybe 40-45%, man. I'm still in a bit of a fog.
I'm used to it, guys. Climb on back. I feel like, McDavid or, some of these great athletes who just throw the whole team on their back again. Another Sunday night, old Uncle Struddy's got to carry, eh, Brownie?
Yeah, you're gonna have to carry me too. I was playing Golden Tee at Tuggers till about 2 a.m. last night. So it's
Are you guys serious?
It's been a tough day. It's a tough day.
Where's your professionalism? Are Zuby and I the only 2 people that are professional enough to be prepared for quality programming?
Well, hey, Zoobs, hop in here real quick. I got a bunch of messages last night. I forgot. We need to let people know if we're not doing a post-game pod. I had a bunch of angry people reaching out. They're like, what the hell? I guess we have the means to just send a quick tweet saying like, hey, no Saturday pod tonight. We'll see you tomorrow night. But I was well into one last night to even think about doing that.
We could do that. I think that's wonderful that people have that expected and want to tune in and join us and take in the show. But yeah, it's not that difficult for us to say, FYI, no post-game pod tonight. I could even take that on. That could be my responsibility.
You're waxing your skis all night?
What's that?
You're waxing your skis all night, Shaugger? Like, you're not even that good a skier.
We didn't go, well, there was no skiing in Jasper this week. We would have loved to have gone skiing. That's why we planned the trip. We were going to go see Brian and the great crew up at Marmot, right? Friends of the podcast. But the temperatures made that somewhat prohibitive. So it ended up being, you're going to laugh at this. 3 of us couples were all going down together. We ended up, rather than skiing the 2 days like we'd planned and going on a hike and seeing the falls and all that, we played 4 games of Settlers of Catan in a hotel room instead of skiing. 6-person Settlers of Catan and a pile of drinks and fun. And it was that's what we improvised, boys.
Wow, that's
couldn't have done that at home. That's for sure. You need a 4-hour drive and a $300 to $400 night hotel room to take care of.
Now I know. Hey, Zoob, now I know what 6 nerds do in Jasper when it's cold.
Answer to the age-old question, yeah.
Yeah, what do 6 dorks spend their time on in Jasper when it gets chilly outside? Knocking down those
my God.
Knocking down those questions. Okay. You know what? And I might have had a massive look at Struddy. Okay. Just we're gonna let him finish laughing at his
No,
own
I'm
joke
done, I'm
again.
done, but-
No, you always have a
Guys,
follow-up.
You should have seen it. We had 4 games.
Here
We've never
comes.
played that many before. Usually we get
Here's the
through 2,
follow-up.
but we got through 4. It was amazing. They're still talking about it. No one's talking about the Settlers of, what is it?
Yeah, Settlers of
Kuwait.
Catan. It's a good
Settlers of
game.
Kuwait.
It's a good game.
Jeez, I guess. Did you leave your Dungeons and Dragons kit at home?
We had so much fun. We can ask people on the stream too. Like my friends, you've played Settlers of Catan. Please chime in here and let Struds know. And Brownie, apparently, he's shaking his head. It's a good game, and it's
we
perfectly
have it.
respectable to spend
We do
a full
have
day.
it upstairs. We have it upstairs,
Yes.
but the instructions were really, really hard, and we just found more fun things to do instead. Like anything else.
Guys, we're in Jasper. What are you going to do? Settlers of Catan? Are you thinking the same thing I'm thinking? No, I'm
boy.
not. I am not thinking that at all.
Okay. In fairness, though, we actually did have a wicked event. There was this event where there were these amazing wines and spirits, distilleries and breweries all came together to showcase their stuff. It was amazing food, all kinds of like really well dressed, super hip people. Like we went out, we did cool stuff. Like we hung with adults.
Did you go home? Did you go home early because you had to get back into your game? Come on, guys. I know it's 7:28. If we get out of here quickly.
Mark T says Catan is fun, so Mark's on my side. Right on, Mark. You and me, buddy.
Did you read
we
what
gotta
Brad
get home?
But Brad Anderson said Settlers was cool when Strudwick was still on the Oilers' blue line.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Everything Maine says Catan is good time, so we'll take that.
It's
as well.
more more pro Catan than
Well, in all honesty, there's probably nothing wrong with the game. It's the fact that you went to Jasper with all kinds of things to do in
Like,
Jasper.
the hotel was booked. It was too cold to go hiking. We couldn't
Was
go
there a spa? Was there a pub?
Hot tub?
Was there a hot tub?
a hot tub.
I guess so.
What was the temp? What was the temperature
Any
at the
bars
base
in
at the base of Marmot?
Oh, dude, well, it was closed. Like they
Oh, it was
literally had to
closed.
shut it. Yeah, no, they were not operating.
Oh, that's.
I mean, don't get me
okay.
wrong. At 27 below, I still wouldn't have been there because I
There
think
must-
that's kind of where the threshold. I would not have been there, but
The lifties must have been playing Settlers of Kuwait as well.
that's enough out of you. I might have had a massive trip foul, so I'll ask you guys that at the start of the next segment. I might have bogeyed badly, and I'll give you another chance to pile on to me. But for now, why don't we get breaking down a record-breaking streak? Okay, Struts, spit it out. You got
Based
one
on
more.
what you said, you've already had a trip foul. You don't have to convince us. We believe you.
You're a donkey. Let's get to the breakdown brought to you by Adrenaline Diesel. They specialize in heavy-duty truck and trailer repair, performance tuning, parts, and sales. Adrenaline Diesel has 7 gigantic bays, and there's not much they can't figure out for you. Marty and his crew have extremely high standards. They will leave your truck in great shape like it's right out of the factory. Check out adrenalinediesel.ca. Okay, gentlemen, we have a 10-game streak that we want to break down a little bit, but given we did not do a post-game pod last night, sorry that we forgot to inform you. That's on Zuby. Let's just quickly, your overarching thoughts, and Brownie, we can start with you because Struds is annoying tonight. What did you think of, what they had to put out to grab that game against a team that I thought was real scrappy?
I thought the Canadians were incredibly pesky, tenacious, whatever it took to get the game going. I mean, blocking shots. The others are on the power play, and the Canadians have 4 guys in the slot just waiting for them to shoot to try and block shots. I thought the Canadians played a very good hockey club, considering they were not the more skilled team. They knew with the pressure coming in and playing against one of the best in the NHL. Now, the Canadians played well, but what we're seeing right now with the Oilers, they just continue to put pressure on you. They just shift after shift. They play the right way. Beginning of the season when they struggled, if they were down in a game, they would start cheating. They would start forcing plays. They would start pinching when they shouldn't, and the opposition started getting odd man breaks and then extending the lead. The Oilers just stayed with their system, and eventually something was going to get past the goaltender, who was fantastic in the game. But the Oilers, to me, they understand now what it takes to win, and they stick with it. And I thought the Oilers, what we've seen lately, the Oilers get better as the game goes on. And I think that's a good sign right now for the Edmonton Oilers.
I'm surprised you didn't bring up how good Alex Lyon played on Thursday night and talk about
Well,
how
Alex Lyon
still,
didn't play last night.
still played it
Jason.
influenced the game. He was still in the Oilers' head. No, you know what? I think just to echo kind of what Brownie said, I think the Oilers played a very patient game. I wouldn't say they had their best night, but there's some nights where you're not going to have your best night, and they were patient. Let's just even go back to last year, just to go a little bit further than Brownie. Things they'd kind of feel 10 minutes, okay, we're all right, but we haven't scored or we're not taking this game over. And they try to rush something and try to do something that was ill-advised, a bad pinch, a turnover, whatever the case would be. And now they're just being patient. And they're like, if it takes 65 minutes to win this game, we'll wait. Like there is no rush. We'll just do it when it comes out. And this echoes exactly what Ekholm said when he arrived on the Oilers, that they have to be comfortable in those games. Well, they're showing it now. They're comfortable in those games. And I love seeing that, Shaugger. I think that it's a real good step in a direction where you can win games in so many different ways.
Okay, but what I will say, gentlemen, is that this is not a skill they have discovered. This is a skill they have rediscovered. They used to play that way. Last season, they played that way. Largely this same group of guys developed that exact trait that we've just been chatting about here. And they developed it last season, kind of from the trade deadline in. So I guess my question, Brownie, is how do you lose that for as long as they lost it? And now they've rediscovered it, but it's not like it came out of nowhere. They knew what this felt like before.
Well, I think reading headlines, reading social media, having the expectations that you're going to be a Stanley Cup contending team. I think the Oilers at the beginning of the season, they talked cup or bust. Everyone's telling them they're going to win the Stanley Cup or they're one of the top 3 teams. And they got away from what made them successful last year. They got away from what everyone was saying. That people were saying it because they saw the Oilers going 18-2 down the stretch last year. So the Oilers got away from that beginning of this. They started believing they were capable of winning simply by being better than the opposition. And what we see in the National Hockey League, teams that are lower skilled can beat you if they outwork you. And I think the Oilers early in the season got outworked, and they certainly got outthought. So I think right now, it was a wake-up call. It took a while. It took two coaches getting fired and a teammate getting sent to the minors, but it was a wake-up call for the Oilers. And all they did was go back to doing what they were doing last year when they were successful. And that's why everybody thought this was a contending team, because of what they've done last year. And now they're doing it again, and they're finding the success again. Now I do believe because of the beginning of the season, you're not going to see them fall into that lull again. I think they now realize how they have to play each and every night.
Yeah, well said, Brownie. I think I'll take a slightly different angle, though. They for sure did it last year after the trade deadline, Shaugger. But when you get in the playoffs and the intensity and the speed and everything gets ratcheted up, you kind of default to what you know. And I think what they know, their default position at that point was taking risks, going for it. We get anxious. We're not patient. And, you get kicked in the nuts like they did, especially that one stretch against Vegas. That one game was that game 3 or 4 where they're, all of a sudden just turned on a dime, 3 goals in short order. I think that kind of brings you back to your attention. And then you do the start they had this year. And now you realize, okay, we've got to be like this consistently. So I think, I hope for Oilers fans and for the team that because they've now doing it, they're doing it hopefully for the rest of the year, it'll be ingrained in them. And when things get intense or tough again, they won't go away from it. They won't default to something else. This is now their default position.
You know what? Actually, Shaugger, if I can make one more point on that.
Yeah, of course.
Think the Oilers in the playoffs and the Oilers at the beginning of the season, I felt at times played arrogant. I think the Oilers at the end of last year and the Oilers right now are playing confident. And I think there's a difference between the two. They took a lot of dumb penalties in the playoffs. And it was just arrogant penalties. I'm going to slash someone. I'm going to cross someone. I'm going to do something after the whistle. Those are the things that hurt the Oilers. And I think now they're starting to play confident. And they know they're good, but they're not arrogant about it. So I think that's why they're doing much better right now. They understand how good they are, but they also understand what they have to do to be that good.
Good comment here from Reaper. Says they don't look exactly like last year. They're taking less risk. They have developed a certain structure. Last year, they didn't quite have it figured out. We'll remind you that our sound box and our Twitter or our YouTube mentions are brought to you by Weiss Johnson Heating and Air Conditioning. The cold has arrived in a big way. Time to get that garage heated. Enjoy the luxury of a warm vehicle or heated man cave this winter. Installing a garage heater will also help if you have rooms above the garage. They're always a little bit cooler too. Certainly love my garage heater. Weiss Johnson installed it for me. So glad this last week that we've got it. So check out weiss-johnson.com. Jingle. Leon Draisaitl on a franchise record 10-game winning streak from his group.
It's kind of hard to believe that they never won 10 games in a row back then, with the teams they had. So, but we'll obviously take it, and something that obviously no one can take from us from now on. But looking to continue that.
We'll see how far they can push it. But the anatomy of this streak is as follows, gentlemen. 40 goals for, 17 against. Penalty kill, 28 for 31 at 90%. I pulled all these numbers today when I wasn't feeling good, so they might all be wrong. The power play, interestingly, 5 for 28, just 18% during this streak. They've done it without a world-class power play ticking at a world-class rate. And as we sit today, they're 7th in the National Hockey League at 25.2%. Maybe you guys can break that down a little bit later in the pod after I'm gone. But I put it to you guys. What has impressed you most, or who has impressed you most during this streak? Brownie, again, you go first, because generally your stuff is a little stronger.
More quality.
Well, I mean, that's
Longer.
true. I'm not going to argue that. To me, honestly, Skinner. I mean, McDavid is McDavid, and he's going to have stretches like he had right now, and he has his whole career. But Skinner at the beginning of the year, they're talking about getting a new goaltender. You need to trade, not just for someone to help Skinner. They need to trade someone to play ahead of Skinner. Skinner in the last 10 games in this stretch that they're on, he's 7-0. He's got a .950 save percentage and a 1.41 goals against average. And what's happening in these games, the Oilers have dominated a lot of these games shot clock-wise. And there's long stretches where Skinner's not seeing the puck. And guys like Alex Lyon and Sam Montembeault are standing on their heads. And now you're standing in your net and you're Stuart Skinner and you're like, okay, I can't make a mistake. And it might be 7-8 minutes before I get a grade A chance. But when I get that, I have to make the save because the guy on the other end is playing out of this world. So he's looked calm. He's looked confident. If they get that kind of goaltending on a nightly basis, they're hard to beat because you're not going to hold the Oilers to one or less. They're always going to score 2 or 3 goals. So if you got a goaltender that's got a goals against average under 2, I like your chances. So in this streak, the majority of the players are playing well. But to me, the one that stand out the most has been Stuart Skinner.
Yeah, that's a great one, Brownie. I think I'm going to go with the guy who leads the team in goals in that time. 8 goals in 10 games, Zach Hyman. I mean, it's hard to overlook this guy. And it's not just the fact that he's putting the puck in the net. It's the energy he brings to his line. He's attacking the net. He's scoring a little bit in different ways, which is kind of a surprise for Zach. But he has really been important. And I think he's been very helpful, obviously, to McDavid. It's not just a one-way relationship, I think, which is important when you're talking about playing with Connor McDavid. You want to give as much as you get back from him.
I'm going to go McDavid. It's obvious, but there are a couple of reasons for it. I mean, he's got 12 even strength points in those 10 games. 4 of his 5 goals are even strength. Like, even strength is where this team is really making a lot of hay and doing a lot of good for themselves. I think he's done a good job setting the tone in a lot of games. I think his effort and his speed and his commitment has been pretty consistent through this streak. I think he's doing all the things that you look to him to do, and he's doing it early on in games. And I really think, guys, that he's setting a significant tone for this group night in, night out. They watch their captain on the first shift, and pretty hard not to follow him when he plays the way he's playing early in these games.
Oh, you're 100%. I mean, and he comes out and he leads physically. He ran over a few guys last game. It's hard to be a guy on the bench on the 3rd or 4th line and turning away from a check when the guy that's going to have 150 points this year is running guys over. So, I mean, that's the easy one. Connor McDavid, he's all world right now. And what you love about him, most players in the National Hockey, everyone wants to win a Stanley Cup, but most players in the National Hockey League are just trying to stay in this National Hockey League. Guys like Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, they've got all the money in the world. They've got all the fame in the world. Their one thing that they want, these two guys, is a Stanley Cup. And you can see it in the way that Connor McDavid plays. You can see it in the way he prepares himself, the way he talks. For him right now, and Leon in the conversation he had with Mark Spector, those guys have one focus this year, is win a Stanley Cup. And that's why you're seeing Connor McDavid. He does not take shifts off. he understands the importance of everything that's leading up to eventually the playoff run.
Well, and it kind of slid through their fingers a little bit early, Struds. I mean, they got that has to be something that they think about, having witnessed it like fall out of their hands so fast, even to them, even to this group. It's one thing to lose a playoff series. It's another thing to come out and be a below average regular season team. That has got to be eye-opening for this group, and it's got to be on their minds heading into a lot of these games.
Well, I think there's a difference even, Shaugger, from a 500 team the first 10 games to where they were tied for the last in the league. You know, you think so it was just so quick before you even know what's going on. You're way out of it. Now they've had an incredible surge to kind of get back into a really comfortable spot in the playoff position. But I think that Brownie said it well, and we've talked about it on this pod before. The coach and staff has 100% the attention of this group, because they don't want to feel that way again. It's scary to think you could win a Stanley Cup and then you're out. Like, you're so far out of it. So I think that they had the attention, and the team has bought into what they're doing. You know, I think it's 18 goals the last 10 games they've given up. Like, that is crazy. Yeah. That is absolutely crazy. So I'm disappointed. I gave you guys a chance to kind of step up, and you missed the opportunity. But to talk about the defense, I think we also have to talk about them. I mean, those guys are producing points. You know, quietly, Ekholm's got 6 points in that time, but they've also only allowed 18 goals, which is pretty incredible for any group of D-men.
Mostly goaltending, Brownie? Mostly goaltending.
It's all goaltending. I don't know what Struds is talking about. Actually, I think of those I'm pretty sure of those 18 goals, I think 6 of them came in the first 2 games. I think it's 12 goals in the last 8 games. Right.
Well, they've won 3 1-goal games here recently, so they're winning the tight ones too. Like,
so it might be 17 goals then. Sorry, my bad. 17 goals.
Yeah, I've got it at 17 goals, but
my bad.
Mattis Moravchik says, huge fan from Australia. My favorite podcast about the Oilers. Good job, guys. Struds, do we try and have you speak a little Australian with him?
Please no, please no.
Oh, welcome from down under, and the thunder from down under.
I feel like it's insulting.
Why are you talking about a male stripper review from Las Vegas right now? Thunder from Down Under is a male stripper review in Vegas, and that's what
Morris,
we go with.
We're sorry. Mattis, we're sorry, buddy. We're sorry. We unleashed Freddy on you. What was it? Crocodile Kid?
Yeah,
the Crocodile Kid, was that it?
That was his other famous Australian speak.
That was the secondary. The original was Karate Dundee.
Karate Dundee, yeah, Karate Dundee. We got to get a T-shirt made for that.
I'll get the poster back.
Exactly. Let's get to our Relentless player of the game last night. Brownie, you want to do the Relentless player from last night, or Strud? You guys want to do it? You guys want paper, rock, scissors for it? Go right now.
I'll let Struds do this. Seriously, I actually had a hard time remembering who we played last night. Okay. So I'm like, Struds, it's all yours, bud.
All right. Youth Services brings you your Relentless player of the game, and Edmonton charity Relentless, in helping youth age 16 to 24 get out of harm's way and find their way back into the workforce. Visit ucan.ca to see how your donation could change lives right here in our community. Got Your Back is a proud monthly donor to UCAN. It's a great program over there doing amazing things in our community. Struddy, who are you pointing to?
I don't think last night was as obvious of
well, you're thinking
actually, you know what, Struds, take a seat. Take a seat. I am going to go with the Relentless player of the game.
I love it.
I'm going to go with the defenseman who got his first ever National Hockey League game on forward.
Yeah,
Phil Kemp. First, here you go, kid. Good news. You're playing tonight, your first ever NHL game. Bad news, you're going to be playing forward. So
guess who your line mates are? What?
Yeah, exactly.
Line mates?
So,
what?
So Phil Kemp, he's the Relentless player of the night.
Not the most traditional way to break into the league, but honestly, guys, first game is first game. Couple of minutes. It's too bad it was in that kind of a circumstance, but I don't think it has to take any shine off of it, Struds. You're there. But you did it.
Let's keep in mind, it's a Saturday night in hockey. Like, it's a huge one, and then it's in Montreal. Like, no disrespect to Columbus or Arizona or like Florida. That's not the same. Your first game in Montreal on a Saturday night, he'll be telling that story for 1,000 years.
And I'm pretty sure there was a tweet or something out. They showed that his father was able to make it there in time to see the hockey game. So good for him. Congratulations. He made it to the National Hockey.
Love it. I love
First
that you
base.
went with that, Brownie. Nice job picking up where Struds was fumbling that ball all over the damn place.
I was taking my time. I was trying to build it up, guys. A little bit of preamble.
Had you decided, or you had? I felt like you were deciding on the fly there. You didn't know who you're going with.
Well, 'cause I didn't think there's anyone obvious, but I'm glad that Brownie took it over, and you guys finally gave a big little zip to the pod.
That's why Rob Brown's appearances on the podcast are sponsored, and they're brought to you by our amazing friends at Kinprint. Got some meetings with them this week. Going to continue the conversation about the hats, helping you find creative ways to promote your brand, high quality apparel. With top of the line brands, visit kinprint.ca. If your company needs to do any sort of printing at all, right? Apparel, get your logo on there, swag for your customers. Kevin and the crew at Kinprint are a family business, and they are fantastic. Okay, when we come back, we are going to get to our takeaways segment. You can tell me how badly I fouled on this trip. In addition to my clear, obvious foul already, which was I was the one that brought Settlers of Catan. Our friends thought it was a hit, but apparently it's completely unacceptable.
And you wonder why you're not invited to the lunches that Struds and I have.
There's some great board game cafes in town, guys. We can line that up. Short break, takeaways coming up. Say goodbye to unruly hair and hello to a smooth and silky back in minutes with Backscape. Shave your back solo with no mess with Backscape's water-resistant long handle and patented 6-blade design, leaving you with a no-mess shaving experience all in less than 5 minutes. Shop now for 40% off select kits just for you, our Got Your Back listeners, and make 2024 your year to elevate your grooming routine. Long Shots Golf is the destination for both golf enthusiasts and sports fans. Top-of-the-line TrackMan simulators provide a highly entertaining and accurate golf experience, while a full-service sports bar loaded with big screens and scratch kitchen make it a truly unique destination. They have locations in Sherwood Park and Edmonton. Experience the best indoor golf and sports bar in town. Visit longshots.ca. That's longshots with a Z.ca. The Edmonton Sport and Social Club's spring season is set to go in May, and registration is just around the corner. Team up with your pals to play in slow pitch, beach volleyball, outdoor soccer, ultimate frisbee, and even cornhole leagues to keep the spring months full of excitement. Spring leagues begin in May. Registration opens on February 8th. Visit edmontonsportsclub.com for more details. All right, welcome back to the show. I was given the advice this week, guys, that I should stop calling this a podcast, that I should start calling it a show, because we're so dynamic with our video elements and live stream and YouTube that I'm selling us short by calling us a show. Struds, as co-founder, what do you think?
I'm not sure who gave you the advice. Other settlers from the Qatar? What is it?
Catan.
Settlers of
Catan. Spelled with a C, Struds. Catan.
You think you're making fun, but you're the one looking foolish right now because the whole world knows about this.
I am not. I can tell you, I'm not.
Look at this guy. He just gets such a kick out of himself, Brownie.
He doesn't even need us. Like
self-fiving himself too.
He doesn't even need us.
It writes itself. Hey guys, I had the most amazing weekend in Jasper. Oh, tell us, what did you do? Did you have some drinks? Did you do something? Oh, we played board games the whole time. Oh, jeez.
Did you at least play in like the lobby, or did you like stuck in like playing on your beds?
No,
like you're all sitting around on the beds playing on one of the.
Neighbor Grant sprung for a suite, so we all gathered in his room. Yeah, that was good.
Jeez.
So by the way, we'll get to takeaways in just a second. So here's the thing: Randy and I decided we were going to drive, so one of the other couples was going to come with us.
Oh,
Struds, when you're the one taking on the drive, right? What are some things that, generally speaking, are expected of you if you're the one that's going to be driving? So, okay, be here by noon, right? Be here by noon.
Sure.
We're leaving, right? What generally would you make sure you've taken care of?
Well, I think fill up for gas. The car's in good working order. Maybe a playlist that reflects the mood you're trying to set.
Yeah. See, this was the thing. So, and I as it was happening, I knew it was going to be bad. got into the car, loaded all. First of all, made them come to us, which I guess geographically made a little bit of sense. But generally speaking, you go pick them up. You make it easy, right? Sure. It's even more hospitable. Vehicle was on empty, and all 4 tires needed air.
Oh, geez.
So it was
whoa,
bad.
wow.
And we had packed way too much, and they couldn't fit all their stuff. So, we had to cram it in there. Like, it was pretty bad. So, scale of 1 to 10, I thought it was a really good.
I got to be honest. You know what you probably could have left behind so that they could have got in their makeup kit.
No, we would have had nothing to do. We would have had nothing to do.
Oh my God, there's always something to do in Jasper.
Oh, even at minus 40. Like, what would you have done? What would you guys have gone if you and the 4 of you and your friends had gone? You tell me you would have done better in Jasper this weekend? What would you have done? Yes. We had a crazy night out. We were tipsy the whole time. We had a blast. And a little board game action.
There's live music on Friday nights at the Legion. You can go down there. It's an open mic. That's lots of fun. You can go have the outdoor hot tubs, have some drinks around the hot tub. You and your sweetie could have a moment away from children in apparently your neighbors can't because you're in their room playing Settlers of Catan. Bet you they were excited. Put the lingerie away, honey. We're having a game. The guys are coming over.
The neighbors are coming over. Let's get the takeaways.
I went to Jasper. I didn't see the outside hotel once. Oh, you old dog. It must have been crazy in your room. It was. We played board games the whole time.
Brought to you by Martin Motorsports, your one-stop marine and recreation shop. They've been in business for close to 60 years and stocked up with the best brands in the world like Can-Am, Ski-Doo, Widescape, and Zero, to industry-leading marine brands like Supra, Moomba, Crestliner, South Bay, and more. They will help you live life at full throttle, whether it's on land, on snow, on water, on the road. Begin your adventure with Martin Motorsports. Visit martinmotorsports.ca. Maybe I should have called Chris at Martin Motorsports and loaded up a toy hauler, because they got some stuff, guys. The weather does not matter. Some of those vehicles they've got going on over there, they've been fully heated, they're fully enclosed. That probably would have been the way to go, Struds. I could admit that.
Wow, the pieces would have been sliding all over the board. Oh, we got a magnetic board. We got a magnetic board for the Crisis of Qatar, or whatever it's called.
Crisis of Qatar. In all honesty, if I were you, I would call who makes that game. Is it Hasbro? They might be our next new big sponsor. Sponsored by Settlers of Catan.
Yeah. Struds, we're going to have you and Shona over. Brownie, you and your lovely bride as well. And we're going to have a 6-person game of Settlers of Catan.
You know, my wife would want to do that too. She's the one that bought it. She tried getting us to do it one night, but seriously, there's a lot of instructions for that game.
Oh, but I'm an expert. I'm an expert instructor. Everybody that I teach how to play the game, I take a lot of pride in this. Yeah. They generally win within their first game or two, Struds, when I teach them. I am an expert instructor.
Yeah, just a handful of cashews in your one hand and then a Diet Coke in the other. These guys can party.
What were we doing for takeaways tonight? Oh, did you guys see the Toronto Maple Leafs tonight? So the Oilers got the Leafs up next year, right? Anticipated matchup anytime you got all these big guns colliding. But boy, they're kind of heading in opposite directions now. So the Leafs are blowing leads here, guys. And they did it again tonight. Couple third period goals against, and then an empty netter. They let one go against the Detroit Red Wings. Brownie, Craig Button, I heard him on SportsCenter the other day. He was asked, are they a legit Stanley Cup contender? And he was saying, no, they just are not. He does not view them that way at all. He was being pretty hard on them. What do you think, Brownie, about the Leafs?
Well, it's funny. So we have John Shannon on our show a lot with Reed and I, and we talked about at the beginning of the season, everyone was bullish on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And the one question I asked him is the defense good enough? And who's going to be your goaltender? Yeah. And I want the Maple Leafs to do well. I am one of the few here in Edmonton. I want all the Canadian teams to do well, because I think it's better for NHL playoff hockey. The more Canadian teams, the better. If Toronto and Edmonton ever had a Stanley Cup final, I mean, this country would shut down. It would be so cool. I am a fan of Matthews and Marner and Nylander and Tavares, but looking at their team, Morgan Riley's a fantastic defenseman, but then there's a huge drop off on their back end, and goaltending is a huge issue for them. So there are a lot of good teams out east. And I have a hard time, if Toronto doesn't make some moves, I have a hard time believing that Toronto is better than those other teams with the depth defense they have and with the goaltending they have.
You nailed it. I've been saying this for a couple of years now. They try to address it with John Klingberg, the defense, but they have a decent one in Riley. And then you got TJ Brody, who's probably a 3-4 at this point. And then they have 5s and 6s, right? And it's not good enough. And they've had some injuries, to be fair. So you have some guys that are playing up more than they should, like Willie Lagson's playing odd, or but it's you need more than that. You need to be stronger. So I look at this team, they've made a lot of trades already prior to this, and to move out now more assets to get what could be a rental in Tanev that they talk about, or Noah Hanfin. I'm not sure that the Flames are really in a hurry to get rid of them, but you're getting more rentals again, and you're trying to maybe get them to sign. They have some big contracts next year. I think this team is really in a tough spot, and not just, I'm not saying that because I like to see Leafs fans suffer. I really think they're in a tough spot. They're going to have quite a bit of money next year with some of these deals coming off, but they still have a lot of money spent on those top guys, Shaugger. So they're kind of between a rock and a hard place. And until you address the defense in a meaningful way, I think they're going to be in a really, really tight jam.
Yeah, it's like they brought the wrong kind of D-man in again. Remember under Kyle Dubas, it was what do they have? Tyson Barrie there at the same time. Like they had multiple guys that should have been in that spot to run the power play, and it never really worked, right? And then Kyle Dubas went and did the same thing in Pittsburgh. Yeah. He brought in Carlson when he already had Letang. He pulled the same style move. What's that?
It was a huge mistake. They had Burns and Carlson didn't really work out because they both want to be on the power play. They both want to touch the puck. You can't play them together. You can't play them apart because there's not enough ice time, right? Like it's, and so they didn't. Dubas, he's quite the guy, but you can't be the smartest guy in the room. And someone just did it in San Jose and it didn't work. So now you bring him in, and it's just how long did their power play go without scoring? It was a long time.
And then in Struds, to go to the point you talked about the other day, when you have high-end players that are making big money, and we talked about the Oilers, you need to have prospects or young players coming up on good contracts. Well, the Toronto Maple Leafs, when you go out and get rentals all the time, you're getting rid of all those prospects. Yeah. So I don't know what their cupboard is like in the minors, and now you can't go out in free agency and buy all these players because you always overpay in free agency, and you've got so much tied up now with the Nylander contract coming next year. So yeah, I do believe hockey is better in Canada when the Leafs are doing well and the Oilers are, and the Flames and the Canucks and the Jets. But there's too many good teams out east that Toronto's going to have to go through that I think are better on the back end and better in net right now than Toronto Maple Leafs.
Penner's Pancake says, I'm calling it now at 9:37 p.m. If they beat the Leafs on Tuesday, they will sweep January. Oh, the bold prediction from Penner's Pancakes. And Brownie, how bad would that be for Struds' prediction?
Oh my God. Well, I think the Oilers have to go 1-5 in their next 6 games for Struds to be right. Like, I remember when we were doing it, he's like, they're going to go 9-5. That'd be a good record. I'm like, 9-5? They're not playing a team with a winning record the entire month.
The best part of that prediction, Brownie, was like, he took a minute to think about it. There was like this pregnant pause, and he was like, I think I'm going to go 9-5, you guys. Really, really pensive look, and really thought that one out.
I did. Well, I'd like to have that one back. Now, to be fair, I had losses. The Kings were a loss. I had the Leafs as a loss. And then I thought that there's a couple other losses in there. So it's not looking good, Brownie. I'll agree. It's not looking good.
Well, you know what? It would be kind of cool. And there's going to need to be a couple big wins before that. But there's a chance on Thursday. The biggest game next week isn't against the Leafs. They play the Kraken on Thursday. And both of those teams could be going for their 12th straight victory. Because the Kraken now, I think, have won 9 in a row as well.
They're 9, and they've got
2 more games. They play back-to-back games. Yeah, they play 2. I think they play 2 on the road before they come to Edmonton. I think they play in Pittsburgh and somewhere else. So I think we were just talking about it last night. So yeah, there's a chance that both teams could be going for their 12th straight victory against each other. And that's a team that I think when everyone was throwing the Oilers out with the bathwater, I think a lot of people were doing that with the Kraken too. Yeah, and the Kraken have fought themselves. I give them credit. They've fought themselves back into a playoff race as well.
Struddy, we all have ones on this podcast that we want back every now and then, right? We all do. There's a couple I want back tonight. You know what I'd like back tonight? I'd like back putting my trust in you guys and being vulnerable and sharing with you some of my interests outside of hockey. I shared with you that I enjoy board games a little bit, and I was vulnerable exposing myself to potential ridicule. And quite frankly, it was brutal. So I'd like that one back tonight, Struds.
Yeah, I don't want my comments back about it. I'm standing by it. And I like board games. I just don't go to Jasper to play board games or New York City or
That's fair.
Hey, let's go to Vegas.
Vegas.
We got to make sure, honey, pack
That's where
the
we
board
need to
games,
go.
sweetie.
Pack life.
Okay.
We're gonna have a couple of rousing games.
I have a bit of hesitation to do this. I'm going to step away for the rest of the podcast, and I'm turning it over into Zuby's capable hands.
Yeah.
You guys are going to finish the next 3 segments. Zuby, all I will ask is that you make sure that it stays playful in nature and doesn't cross over and start becoming cruel. Because I feel as I exit this situation, it might start to become cruel. Can you be the monitor of that for me?
I am and I will be, but I think we should just make a deal where you don't listen to the other half. You just are ready to.
No, I will not be on the live stream commenting.
But Shaugger, in all honesty, buddy, I want to wish you the best of luck in your 5th game of the weekend of Serious.
That's not why I'm leaving. That's not
Please
why I'm
finish
leaving.
and do well. I hope you win it.
Yeah.
Let us know how it wraps up.
That's not why I'm stepping. I have very important
tiebreaker.
business to attend to. Guys,
the
don't
tie.
break the podcast while I'm gone. Struds, Brownie, and Zuby will be right back after this. Be nice. We're friends. Be nice.
Winter is upon us, so why not make the best of it? Marmot Basin Ski Resort is where it's at. Ski half price every day, no blackout periods. Pick up your escape card for $99 and make winter fun more affordable. Half the price, all the powder. Get yours at www.skimarmot.com.
If you own or operate a business, you know the value of a great employee. Just ask Shaugger. Pathfind is here to help you find your next star player to help take your business to the next level. Pathfind can help with recruitment, career transition, leadership coaching. They truly have your whole team covered. Building you a championship caliber roster. Find your team's path forward at pathfind.ca.
Time to talk about your mortgage? It doesn't have to be a daunting conversation. With over 16 years in the industry, Maria Gallus with Maximum Mortgages knows how to make it easy. With access to dozens of different lenders, let Maria customize the perfect solution for you. Whether you're purchasing, refinancing, or renewing, or a first-time buyer, Maria's simplistic approach and expert advice will have you feeling confident you're in great hands, making informed decisions. Take the stress out of your mortgage journey. Contact Maria Gallus at mortgagesbymaria.ca. That's mortgagesbymaria.ca.
All right, welcome back. Let's get into Take a Lap, brought to you by Backscape. This product is taking the online world by storm right now. It is everywhere. Get rid of unwanted back hair by yourself with Backscape. The water-resistant rechargeable shaver, coupled with a long handle, lets you take care of business on your own. Shave in any direction with no bumps or cuts. It's easy. It's awesome. Right now is their biggest sale of the year with 30 to 50% off. Visit backscape.com. That's BAK-scape.com and choose from a variety of package delivered right to your door. Great product for sure for those that in the need. Let's get to our couple ideas here. And I want to first start. Today, the NHL came out with the jersey and look like for the All-Star game. So we've got a picture of it. If you can't see it at home, you can check it out as we go through. I believe that's Justin Bieber wearing them, and they're quite plain, Brownie. I find them actually very plain. And you think back to some of those ones we saw with the stars down the arms, and they were pretty cool. And I saw the comments said they look like the practice jerseys for the All-Star game. So I'm not a real jersey guy, but I think these are, to be fair, underwhelming, my man.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I saw them last night on the game when they showed the 4 hosts, Ron McLean and all them were wearing them. I thought one of them looked not bad as the color, but then the red one was like, it just didn't seem to go. Actually, if you look behind me, I got to play in one All-Star game. That was our All-Star game jersey when I played years ago.
Amazing.
To me, I'm old school. I'm old. So underwhelming. I think that's the best word for it. Underwhelming. And now was Bieber, was he involved with the making of these? Because I saw he's the one been wearing them. They talked a lot about him on the show, but Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing the NHL isn't making these jerseys for you and I.
No,
I think
no.
there's a different demographic that they're going after. I honestly, I should probably text my son, see what he thinks, and I'm sure you'd ask your kids because I think that's more the demographic they're looking for with
Right.
these jerseys. But I agree, and I thought the yellow and the blue looked not bad, and I thought the other two looked a little odd. But
Yeah, I mean, whatever. You're going to look at them, and I'm not a big jersey guy, anyways. But this is not one I'd buy, right? So I guess
no, I agree.
and it really doesn't matter. But interesting, the NHL selected 10 players to compete in the NHL All-Star Skills. This is coming up in a few weeks. Listen to this group of 10 now. 2 will be added by fan voting: Matthews, Nylander, McKinnon, McCarr, McDavid, Draisaitl, Kucherov, Jack Hughes, Pasternak, and Pedersen. Like that
imagine
is
that. I'd
gross.
actually tune in for that. I would tune in to watch
Yes,
that. That is
I agree.
unbelievable. Now I don't know
agree.
if you watched. Did you watch the game in between periods last night, the other game when they interviewed Leon Draisaitl?
I did.
And they asked him about, because you don't have to go in all the skills. You get to pick which ones you go in. I think you have to pick 8 of the 10 or something like that. And they asked Leon, which ones do you want to be in? And he said, any except for skating. I don't want to be in that. Like I started thinking. I mean, Leon is a great skater, but then you start looking. They got McCarr, McKinnon, they got McDavid. I'm like, yeah, that'd be one I'd be skipping to. But in all honesty, I do like what they're doing with the All-Star game. I don't know if you remember. I don't know if you're old enough, but when I was younger, I think it was once a week, but between periods, they had a skills thing that was pre-taped from the summer. It was all the best players in the NHL, and they go on breakaways and do all these skill things, and it was a competition. I think that's and I think that's cool what they're doing at the All-Star game now. You're actually seeing, because it started getting a little hokey, some of the things they're doing at the All-Star game. This is actually a true skills competition with the best players in the world. I would actually tune in to see this more so than the game, just to see the best players in the world competing at each other. And I know there's $1 million on the line, but these guys, the competitive nature, it's not even the money. It's to be able to say, you know what, I beat him in a race, or I outshot him. So I think this is a great idea, and I know they got Connor McDavid involved in the design of this. So that's pretty cool. So I think that's the excitement of this year's All-Star game.
I really like it. It's going to be fun, and I will tune in for that because that's a gross amount of skill on there.
Yeah.
Now, talk about a guy who isn't in that group, but who would have been in that group for many, many years and chasing down Wayne Gretzky is Alex Ovechkin, sitting with 8 goals, and I think it's 17 or 19 assists, I should say, this year through 39 games. He's missed the last 2 games now with injury. He's on pace for roughly around 16. He has 8 goals, so 16. Let's call it 17 goals. If it is, and you talk about a drop off the pace, Brownie, but he is 38 years old. He has a ton of miles on his body, and it just keeps feeling like we just keep pushing that time out where he's going to break the record. I still think he'll make it, but it just kind of keep pushing out a year, 2 years, maybe 3 seasons now before we see him break Gretzky's record.
I mean, he has an opportunity to do it because of the longevity. He will play long enough. But you look at where his body is compared to Crosby's having a resurgence this year. I mean, those guys broke in together, and Crosby's having, he's going to win the MVP, but he's in the consideration kind of year he's having. But just the way Ovechkin played, I think it just eventually wears you down. He was physical, and he finished every check. I mean, I've watched them play this year where he continues to go out there and run guys over, and eventually your body just says no more, no timer. Up watch. It looked like it was a sure thing next year. It's sad when our bodies get old. Yep.
I'm gonna make a prediction right here, though. I follow the NBA pretty closely, and LeBron James started out. He was obviously a good player. Then he got really big and strong, and then he realized he was too heavy. And he lost the weight and played a little lighter. I think that Alex Ovechkin. I think you'll find that over this summer he's gonna cut weight. And I'm not saying he's fat or out of shape or anything like that. I'm just saying that he needs to play a lighter. He looks slow out there, and he doesn't have that same speed. So I think that he'll cut weight to get going a little bit quick, and I think his numbers will go up next year. That's just my prediction. I think we look forward to that next year for him. Okay, that was a take a lap. Let's pause again when we come back. Struddy's World, and we're going to cross over a couple different sports here related to a team we've talked about, and also a league that we love watching, also the NFL.
Okay, heroes, are you trying to tough it out through a sports or life injury right now? Trying to prove your mettle by grinding through, gritting your teeth? Well, Redefined Health is here to say it's time to come on in. At Redefined Health, they'll high-five you for your toughness and then get to work on helping you fix the problem. Helping athletes and heroes find better balance, performance, and injury prevention. Visit redefinedhealth.com.
Are you ready to elevate your moving experience? Trusted for over 100 years, Ferguson Moving and Storage are your partners in relocation, ensuring your journey is smooth and stress-free. And say goodbye to surprises with Ferguson's transparent flat rate pricing. Contact them now for a free moving quote and use a promo code Ferguson to receive $100 off your next move. Visit fergusonmoving.com and let them lift your expectations. When you make a mistake, heads should roll. It's not right. And I'm here, someone has to put their foot down. Now that I say it out loud, it does sound a little crazy. Gotta look good.
Hey folks, welcome back. Welcome back. We're going to do Struddy's World here. I just thought I'd let everybody know there was a little bit of freezing going on the stream. Some people commenting that it's so cold out, even the stream is freezing. And that may be correct. I think we've stabilized now, so hopefully we're all good the rest of the way here. I'm here to let you know that Struddy's World tonight is brought to you by DLR Vinyl Products with locations in Calgary and Edmonton. Whether you're a homeowner, contractor, or a builder, DLR is the most reliable source for vinyl fencing. Open in 2005 and not going anywhere. Unmatched service and high-quality, North American-made vinyl products. Visit dlrproducts.ca. Struddy, what do you got going on in Struddy's World tonight?
I do pick on Leafs, the Toronto Maple Leafs, but not so much the players as I do their fans. I like seeing their fans suffer when they get eliminated from the playoffs or don't make it. I just take great joy in that. And I say that from a place of, I think they call it peace and love. That's what the kids call it. But I do love seeing Leafs fans suffer. And today I was watching the Cowboys play the Packers, in which a game they just got pounded. Now, there's a lot of people talking, hyping these group up, saying that they're going to win this Super Bowl, or they should win this, or this would be an easy game for them. And they got absolutely annihilated. I think at one point they were 4 touchdowns back of the Packers, and they narrowed it a bit, but the game was over already. And it dawned on me, because I started getting texts. I was texting friends that are Dallas Cowboy fans, and all they had was excuses about why their team wasn't going to do it. It wasn't about them. It was about the other teams, or the fact that they have to pay their quarterback a lot. And Jordan Love, the coach the quarterback for Green Bay, didn't have a big contract. It was uneven and unfair, and everything is unfair. It's always the world against them. And it dawned on me that the Cowboys fans are the NFL's version of the Toronto Maple Leafs fans. They're overhyped. They call it America's team, just like they try to say that the Leafs are that for Canada. And it's amazing. I'd never dawned on it. Then I tweeted that out, and people started saying, "Had you noticed they had the same color scheme?" I was blown away. And it's so true. You have two teams that are always overhyped by fans, and I guess they meet a bit because the fans like them so much. But today, as I sat there, and I'm not an anti-Cowboys, I should say, I cheer for the Giants, but I'm not like that. But today, as I watched that team go down in complete flames, Brownie and Zoobs, I had so much joy in my heart knowing that the Cowboys fans were suffering on every missed pass or interception or TD that the Green Bay Packers scored. It was a great, great day.
You are seriously, you're the Grinch. You're the Scrinch. You're Scrooge and Grinch together. You're the Scrinch. I used to be a Cowboys fan. Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, all that. But then I just soured on Jerry Jones. I don't like their owner. So I started cheering against them because I don't like the owner. Fans, I can never be down on fans. Leaf fans, Cowboy fans, Pack. I want all fans to enjoy their team. I want every team to have a win for their fans. Because I think all fans, you grow up with the team, you love them. I got buddies who have been Detroit Lions fans forever, and they have suffered more than any fan in the history of sport. And now they are just, while we're on here, I'm getting all these texts on my phone because the Lions won today. I don't know. I'm not going to pick on the fans like mean Mr. Strudwick. I was cheering for Green Bay today. Not a fan of Aaron Rodgers, so I was kind of happy that this Jordan Love has come in and has just set the world on fire. I like underdogs. I like upsets. So that's, to me, I was cheering for Green Bay. That was a huge upset, and it was a lot of fun to watch. Having said that, I think the coach of the Green Bay Packers might have got a little nervous as the game got a little later in it, when all of a sudden, okay, the 32-point lead is now only 16. But I did not. I felt bad for the Cowboy fans, but I did not feel any sadness for Jerry Jones, the owner of the Dallas Cowboys.
Zuby?
I'm with Struds on this one. As far as Strud, you're going after the fan. It's the fan that your sour grapes are for the fans. It's not
100%.
against the players and there are good. You probably acknowledge with any team like that, there are probably good fans. There are probably diehard fans who aren't the front running type. But that's the difference. The difference is the Lions are an underdog story, right? That's why. If you wouldn't, I don't know, the Lions have felt like those losses for whatever it's been, 32 years or something since they won a playoff game, maybe even more. I can't even remember.
It's I think it's more than that. I think it's like 50 or 60 years.
They
lost last year.
One win in the last 60.
Last year. Yeah, and they lost the football game, I think it was last year, where the guy kicked a 68-yard field goal with no time left on the clock. Like, they have lost some horrible, horrible ways. Right. I don't know, picking on fans. I mean, there's some Dallas Cowboy kid who's 8 years old and he's wearing his jersey to bed tonight crying. And mean Mr. Strudwick in Edmonton's like, got you, kid.
Yeah. I'd walk into his room and say, your team sucks.
I think that might be Pierre LeBrun's kid. And actually, Struds, I think you might be filling in for LeBrun on the NHL pod on Wednesday, because he is already in mourning. We've already seen some text. He said, I didn't even think I have something along this line on our group chat. He said, I didn't even think I have 150 friends, but that many people have texted me during this football game.
I know. I didn't have the heart. I was going to tweet at him. I didn't have the heart, because it's just, again, you think you're going to walk through that game. I mean, Green Bay had a fight to get in the playoffs, and then they just blew the Cowboys up. So listen, it's going to be, we know, let's take it back to the NHL. You know that the place is going to be rocking on Tuesday when the Leafs come into Edmonton. And as a player, you hate that, because you hate to look up and see blue Leaf half jerseys in the stands. I hated it. I absolutely hated it. It was everywhere you go. So I'd love to see the Oilers beat the Leafs and like just bad karma for that group of fans.
Struds, I played for the Hartford Whalers, and we played the Boston Bruins in the playoff. And if there was 16,000 fans in the stands, 12,000 of them were Boston Bruin fans. When Boston scored, the place would go nuts, and there'd be fights in the stands, and it was always a Hartford Whaler guy that was rolling down the stairs. That was embarrassing. Whenever, I mean, we'd come on the ice and we get booed in our own rink when we played against the Boston Bruins.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I think big picture, though, your comparison of the Leafs and the Cowboys is pretty on point.
Yep.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I've never seen it. I had no idea. I never knew that was the case till tonight or today. It dawned on me. All right, let's get into what everyone else thinks here, Zoobs, with Ask Us Anything, my man.
Yeah, and Ask Us Anything tonight is brought to us by the Shark of the Park. Man, we love Irini Buclan of Maxwell Devonshire Realty. Home is a feeling and one of the biggest investments you'll ever make, probably the biggest. Irini takes on a select number of clients to give them a more personalized service. See why she was rated #1 individual agent this past year with their skilled negotiation and 5-star client satisfaction, serving Sherwood Park, Edmonton, and surrounding areas. Call Irini at 780-994-0280. That's the most important part of the read. I had to make sure I really dialed in on that. Let's get the phone number right. Okay, let's get to the stream here. Folks having a good time chiming in with their questions. So let's say JCD, he chimed in on the All-Star jerseys. I wanted to include this. He says, I'm 13. Those jerseys, absolute trash, son. No cap. And I only just learned recently from watching a movie called Old Dads, of which I am, that no cap means like no lie or like straight truth. Yada, yada, yada. No cap. He's telling the truth. That's the truth from JCD 780. And how old and white did I sound explaining that just now? Good stuff. Stephen Petrick and a few other folks said something along this line. Stephen said, it feels like the Oilers' power play is trying to be too cute again. Need more point shots and try to pull the forwards up. Last few games, they have given Bush a ton of space. I know what are you guys seeing with the power play? Do you think they're getting too cute?
I think teams are playing them in a certain way that's allowing the Oilers to move the puck on the outside. They're teams aren't chasing out. They're having four guys back. They're trying to block everything. They're getting in the way. They're not allowing the cross ice pass. I think the best thing for them to do is to shoot first from the point. If I was running that power play, every power play would start in the first 10 seconds with a shot from Bouchard for two reasons. A, he can score. B, if he doesn't score, it creates chaos in the crease area. Or three, his shot is so heavy it'll break a stick or break a guy's foot. And I don't know how many times this year we've seen him break the opposition player's stick, and now it's a 5 versus 3.5. So every power play that I have with the Edmonton Oilers would start with a Bouchard shot. Struds?
Yeah, I like that, and I'm not going to challenge you on anything there. And I would just add that they're very good at recovering pucks.
Oh,
When it's goes off of whatever the goalie or a D or whatever, they're very quick to get it back, and a lot of that starts with number 18, Zach Hyman.
100%.
Did you guys see this news about Terry Ryan, our friend TR? Terry
It's
Ryan
his birthday.
It's his birth. Not only is it his birthday though, he played in an ECHL game. He played in a professional hockey game. And I don't have the name of it was the Newfoundland something or other. Anyway, played in an NHL game. No, he was in a fight.
I saw that.
And so now what was the quote? Oh, so Bison Mask guy, Shane Matheson brought that up. And then Bison Mask guy said, Brownie and Struds, would you ever pull a Terry Ryan and play it in an ECHL game to celebrate your birthday or whatever, play in another professional hockey game at another level? Struds.
Not a chance. There's no, I'm done. I'm done. I don't even like really to play at all. I play in charity terms. I enjoy that. I guess if I was turning 47, maybe I'd lock myself in a room with some other people and play board games. But no, Brownie, I mean, I love the charity terms, but the idea of playing a game, but he is in good shape from that show. He's in good shape and his arms have got like a couple bumps on him. So he's ready to rumble.
Yeah, zero chance. I remember when I'd been retired for about 3-4 years, and I got a phone call. I was sitting watching TV, and I got a phone call, and this guy with an accent's talking to me. He's going on and says, "Hey, we want to know if you want to come play for us." I'm like, "Play? Where are you?" And they were in Germany. He says, "You want to come over and play in Germany?" I'm like, "I haven't played in 4 years. Like, I'm literally like, you don't want me?" He goes, "No." And then he said, "Here's how much we'll pay you." Then I'm like, "Okay, hold on a second. Let me think about this." But then I eventually said, "No." I'm like, I would embarrass myself. And that was when I was 4 years out of hockey. Now I'm 20 years out of hockey. There's zero chance. Like when I retired, I could go out and you and I are on the ice a lot together, Struds. When I could go out with our high school kids, our U18 kids, and I could look really good. I go out now with our grade 4s, and some of those grade 4s, I cannot catch them no matter how hard I try. So there's zero chance that I would play. I don't care how low the leagues go. There's zero chance I would dress for a game. I don't want to put equipment on. That's the biggest thing. Yeah. I don't ever want to wear shoulder pads ever again.
A couple people correcting me on the stream that it was the Newfoundland Growlers, which I should remember because one, that's the name of my company, and two, because that's the name I gave to one of my hockey teams that I used to play with out in Vancouver and Burnaby. So I should have remembered that. My bad. Thanks for correcting me. Did you guys hear these comments from Evander Kane in the Mark Spector piece? So let me just throw this out really quick. So it's talking about Kane and what he sees as his lack of opportunity. He says, quote, "Obviously, I'm not getting the same opportunity as I did in the first part of the season, so I think that's a factor in his production. Wouldn't help anybody's production." Then Spector says, "Surely he's been through this before." Kane says, "Nope. Honestly, I've never had this level of opportunity ever in my career, not even in my rookie year." What do you guys make of these comments? Concerning or just Kane being Kane?
Go ahead, Strud. You go first. Go first. Okay.
Well, go ahead, buddy.
He's being honest. B, his body language tells he hasn't been happy for a while. And he scored an incredibly important goal against the New York Rangers in New York when he was playing on the line with Derek Ryan and Janmark. Absolutely zero celebration. We talked about it on our show. Yeah. The other night, he got moved up and played with Leon, and they scored a goal, and the excitement level was so much higher because he's having more fun where he is now. Is that right? Probably not. But Evander Kane is being Evander Kane, and all of his comments were honest. And I think actually I remember part of it. He said something I probably shouldn't say anything at all, or saying nothing is probably the best thing I should do right now. I don't think it's concerning, but I do believe it is a small storyline going forward. Having said that, I believe he's going to be in the top 6 going forward anyways.
If they're losing, it'd be a big problem, right? But they're winning, so you can't really say much, right? As a player, we're winning. We've just rattled off, what is it, 10 in a row? What am I going to say? Walk in there and complain about my ice time? They look like the biggest prick in the league. So it is something that I think that Knobloch has to monitor and figure out. But they're on the heater, so you're not going to change anything. Well, but he will move up.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they haven't needed him.
Yeah,
in the top 6.
Right.
So,
okay.
It's just amazing.
Hontorio Mom says Holloway and Broberg are stirring the drink in the AHL. Is there? This is me adding on, but is there any chance we see those guys in the near future? Is there a situation other than an injury? Let's start with Struds on that one.
I think it's unlikely Broberg comes up until there is an injury. I think that he'll be down there playing a ton. I think the case in Holloway is a little bit different. I think we will see Holloway here because I think that he has a higher threshold than some of the players currently in the bottom 6. So I think that we will see him win. I'm not sure. Again, you're not going to change a winning lineup, so you're not bringing them up here. So maybe when they lose, they bring them, but they're getting close also to their break. So is it worth bringing them up for that? Let's see how it plays out let's get to the next 2 games and see how it looks after that, Brownie.
Yeah, I agree with everything you said. Broberg's not playing unless there's an injury. Holloway will come up and he will get in the lineup at some point, but I think they're going to find the right moment to get him in the lineup. But right now it's better for both of them to be playing in the minors than sitting in the press box up here.
Okay, last one. Got the Leafs on Tuesday, so let's double back to a Leafs a little more schadenfreude with the Leafs. JL says Leafs fans calling for Craig Berube. The Leafs blew another lead tonight, right, and gave up 3 goals in the third and lost to Detroit. Do you think is Sheldon Keefe's job in trouble? That's still a winning team in a decent spot in the standings. Brownie, is Sheldon Keefe in any trouble?
Well, I think that when you have high expectations and you're not meeting the expectations, it's the general manager's job to look around to see if there's a better option. I think coaches are like players. If there's someone better that can help your team better, you go out and you look at that. The Leafs are not playing as well as they were expected to be. To me, I think part of it might be coaching, but I think a lot of it also is their team. They don't have good goaltending right now, and they don't have a defense that when you have a lead, you can shut it down. And that's why they're giving up leads late in games. They don't have that pairing when things go sideways. They can't put out an Ekholm or a Nurse, or you look at other teams around the league. They don't have that shutdown defenseman that you need when games start going sideways.
Yeah, you just nailed it. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but I think the guy that is ultimately responsible for this situation is now the GM in Pittsburgh. So, you can change the coach, and he might get out of it, or be released. But the next guy in is going to have the same trouble. Now, you can maybe talk a little bit about tighten up your D zone, but it's still the same D, still the same goalie back there. And I'm not a believer in each one of those guys can play in the NHL. They cannot play at the level they're playing. Most of them are up 1, 2, maybe even more than that, spots up in the lineup too far for a D-man.
All right. Good stuff, fellas. You want to get to the gem?
Yeah, I want to get to the gem of the day here, and I'm gonna take this one on here, guys. I got the gem of the day, and it comes via tweet from Craig Kaminga. And he's quoting someone who obviously is nightly dropping great gems on this podcast. Says, and I quote, "Pieces would have been sliding all over the board." Jason Strudwick. Sunday night, I'm watching a podcast in my family room TV, and my wife is even laughing. Great chemistry, great entertainment. Cheers. Now, everything is great about that, Craig, except for the cheers. I reject your cheers. And I know Brownie and
I accept the cheers.
Yeah, I
accept the cheers. And what's the gentleman's name? Craig?
Craig.
Cheers right back at you, buddy.
I reject the trip, but I love it. And that was a good one because if you missed it, Ryan and Shaugger was talking about renting or getting some stuff from Chris over at Martin Moore Sport and driving around, and Michael, you would have spilled your pieces all over the place. So nailed it with that one. Another great line from one of the true greats in podcast world. Any final thoughts, Brownie, as we take go take the night off here?
No, it was an absolute pleasure. I do notice though, like on the computer, like we get bigger pictures when Rashog's not on it, because it's like I don't want to say. I mean, could it be the Brown and Strudwick show or the Struddy and Brownie show? I'm fine with that.
And Zoobs, and
Zoobs, Well, we're not getting rid of him, but I mean,
no.
I'll get to take a featuring credit, featuring Zoobs.
Yeah.
Oh, we can actually we can spread it open. You can be in the middle there. I mean,
it's fantastic.
Fantastic. This is. I mean, eventually, someone who's the guy that had played all those games for the Yankees, the third baseman that had the 10,000 games in a row. Or no, Cal Ripken Jr.
Oh, Cal.
You know what? Yeah, well, Cal Ripken Jr. There's some guy got his night off, and Cal took over. Well, Rashog took a night off.
Yeah, he got pushed out.
Just saying.
All right, guys. Well, thanks a lot for this. Zuby, always great. Brownie and obviously Shaugger for his 20-minute appearance on the pod. We have another pod coming up Tuesday, I believe. Post-game, Leafs, Oilers. I can't wait for this game. Obviously, important for the Oilers to get 2 points, but we want to see those Leafs fans suffer, so see what happens. Boys, thanks for tuning in. Check us out on all the platforms. Zuby, I missed anything, buddy?
I think you nailed it, man. That's a home run.
All right, then. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you Tuesday post-game. Good night, everybody.
See you, gang.